oh my gosh, IGN released this like best 10 horror games of all time, and obviously it's IGN, so it's like take it with a grain of part of it's probably rage bait, but oh my gosh, one thing they put on there, before I even was finished going through it, I was like, Silent Hill 2 is going to be at the top of the list. I know it's going to be number 1. Is it all Resident Evil? Almost! Oh my gosh, almost! Well, actually, they did like a fan version that was like, fans get to vote for their favorite horror games. And it was like top 50 fan-rated horror games, and probably like 25 out of 50 of them were Resident Evil games. And I'm like, guys, have you ever played another horror game before ever in your life, please? But Alien Isolation was on the list. For the most part, the list wasn't so bad, actually. I know some people, I think it was Ashton. I think Ashton was like clouding on the fact that they put Five Nights at Freddy's over Resident Evil 1. But I don't know. I mean, Resident Evil 1... I don't know. But one thing I totally disagree with is having Outlast on the list. Outlast is scary for the first 30 minutes, and then it becomes a repetitive nothingness. You just run around. Oh, a guy's chasing after you. Run, hide. Okay, run. Oh, run, shut a door. Okay, you're safe. So, what's the best horror game, Minto? I'm biased, though. I'm actually biased. Because there was also no Fatal Frame on there. And I'm like, Fatal Frame is so scary. You personally hate Freddy's? I do like Five Nights at Freddy's. I hate what the series has become, but I think the first Five Nights at Freddy's game is a really great horror game. I stand by that. I think it has, I love the way that they build the mystery, and that it's kind of, not thrown in your face. You're not going around reading little notes. Like, it's all very subtle. And you can't doubt, or you can't ignore how influential it's been. It's mostly audio logs. No. It's actually like little posters on the back, and like when you're looking at the monitors, like you'll be like looking at the monitors, trying to wonder where Freddy is, and you'll see a poster that's like missing children, stuff like that. It's actually I just love subtle horror like that. It's like some of my favorite stuff. But another thing that was on there on the list was Slender the 8 Pages, which also is like, I guess I would put it on there, not as like a great horror game, but has, again, as influential as it was. I don't know. I guess you kind of have to wonder. It's like hard to, do you rank them by how good of a scary game they are, or do you rank them by how, much they influence the horror genre, cultural milestone? Yeah, it's a classic. And back then, everybody was losing their minds over it. They were like, yeah, a product of its time is like the perfect way to describe it. Yeah, a product of its time. It was like, oh my gosh, the horror game. It was, I don't want to say it was revolutionary, but it was like, the gameplay kind of sucks. I wouldn't say it sucks, it's simple. It's you run around and you grab 8 pages and Slender Man's chasing after you. That's about it. Another thing that was on the list was PT, and I'm just like, can you really put a non-game? I mean, of course it's a game, but can you put a thing that wasn't... It was just a teaser. It was a demo. But again, it like influenced so many horror games to follow. Everything for like a good solid 2 years after was just hallway simulators. Repeating hallways. Hallways after hallways after hallways after hallways. But I love PT, so again, I'm biased. I don't know. I love PT. I love the talk. Oh my gosh, I got a TikTok yesterday that was like someone covered a sock in barbecue sauce and like put it on their hand and put it in a sink, and they were like, "This is the talking baby in, in PT." This is what. I try to, as much as I dislike IGN, the list, I could, for the most part, give them benefit of the doubt on some of the answers. But obviously, people are gonna disagree on some things and be like, "No, Resident Evil 7 was the best horror game ever made, and nothing will change my mind." Or whatever. Game reporters, am I right? It's all subjective after all. Yeah, pretty much. They also put Dead by Daylight and Left 4 Dead on there. Yeah. I was very much questioning Left 4 Dead. I was like, zombies does not equal a horror game. But there are some spooky parts in Left 4 Dead, but does spooky parts mean it's a spooky game, right? Like, this is action. It's not horror at all, except when you anger the witch, I guess. Minecraft is horror now. True. Oh my gosh, there was a new update, wasn't there? Or there's going to be a new update with like another scary thing in the mines or something? Why? Why do they keep putting the scariest shit in Minecraft? Less spooky zombie game. Yeah, they're like, oh, zombies? Obviously that means it's of the horror variety. Amnesia was on the list. And I think Soma was also on the list. Soma is good. I actually was gonna play it this month, but I don't know why I didn't. I think it's because it's like more not my type of horror. Like isn't it? It's like, how do I describe it? I don't. I have never played Amnesia before either, but it's also really not my type of game. I think of the water level and I just want to throw up. I watched a friend play it. I remember going to a friend's house and they owned it and they played it, and I'd be like, "Wow, I don't want to play this ever." Was Dead Space? Dead Space was on the list. Yeah. Dead Space was on the list. So for the most part, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can understand it. I don't agree with all of it, but I understand it. When is Minto spooky game top list? No, but everybody would get mad at me. Everybody would get mad at me. I can get mad at you for not sharing, if that helps. Was Fear on the list? No, it wasn't. The greatest sheer terror is when you're in Minecraft, hours deep in a build and you hear a creeper noise. So true. Will you play the Silent Hill 2 remake? I'm not sure yet. I like Silent Hill. I played Silent Hill 2. But it was a long time ago. I remember Silent Hill 3 more than I remember Silent Hill 2. So, I don't know. I've seen all the great reviews about it and everything. So I do still want to play it, but I don't know if I want to stream it. I did hear one criticism about it. That it was like a little bit more action-y than the previous game, or the original was. And that like there's more mannequins kind of everywhere.